Since the month of April has begun, the Buena Vista baseball team has lost just one game. Rolling into the day on a 6-game winning streak, the Beavers would look to keep it going as they took on conference foe Coe. Now the Coe Hawks, they're 13-11 entering the game. Will pick things up in the bottom of the third. Caden Matheson at the dish. He pokes one through. That brings in a run, and the Beavers, they're leading 4-0. Then comes Tegan Bach in the clutch. Bottom of the fourth, 2 outs, 2 runners on. He puts a blooper in play. That scores both runners thanks to an error, and the Beavers are up 10-0. Coe would finally get some runs across in the top of the fifth, cutting the lead to 10-2, but it would not be enough as the Beavers roll to a 12-2 victory.